This is Jude 1 and 7. Even as Sodom and Gomorrah and the cities about them in like manner, giving themselves over to fornication and going after strange flesh, are set forth as an example, suffering the vengeance of eternal fire. I'd like to start off by saying Barakatah Yahawah, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Call Haloyim La Yahawah, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rachakodash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who rule well. Blessings and salutations to the hopeful elect that scattered abroad, the Hakim and the Akwat that's listening in. Yahweh Ratazah, Lord willing, that the lesson is edifying. It's the beautiful, excuse me, it's the brother Shawab Ambuwan back at you with another lesson. And I'm going to try to make this one. Esau, yep. It looked like Esau playing with my feed. I was actually having trouble pressing the live button. It's like it doesn't want to work right now. It's just messing around with it. So, gotta be quick and straight to the point. All right, but let's see where the spirit takes me. All right, so I just want to play. It's probably because of the title too. All right, but ain't nobody worried about it. If they offended, oh well. But I just want to show this video real quick. I feel like I have found the one in different times of my life. I think the one could last forever, or the one could just exist at a period of time. Have I found the one before? Yes, but I've also found the other one. You know you found the one when you feel supported, when you feel loved, when you feel frustrated. I think the one challenges you in a unique way to grow and to expand. You know you found the one when creation feels natural, when expansiveness is not a conversation, it's a flow. I need you to know that you're the one. I feel like I have found the one in different times of my life. They done got his ass. Got him. So they got him in a whole woman blouse. They got him in a whole woman blouse, looking extra fruity pebbles right now. All right. Matter of fact, let me show it one more time. Found the one in different times of my life. I think the one could last forever, or the one could just exist at a period of time. Have I found the one before? Yes, but I've also found the other one. You know you found the one when you feel supported, when you feel loved, when you feel frustrated. I think the one challenges you in a unique way to grow and to expand. You know you found the one when creation feels natural, when expansiveness is not a conversation, it's a flow. I need you to know that you're the one. Yeah, so he basically talking about being extra fruity pebbles with it, which, man, he this place is done for. You ain't got to really say much. All right, so let's grab Romans 1, right? Romans 1, and which is funny because he said he was talking about the natural. When you find the natural one, it's all spiritual. Okay, so this is 21, 1 and 21. It says, hold on real quick. Let me see what's up. Yeah, 21. It says, because that when they knew Yahawah, they glorified him not as power, neither were thankful. Because I'm going to tell you straight up, all these celebrities know about the truth. I've said this millions of times, man. All right. Esau make you sell your soul. All right. First and foremost, because he sold his soul, he tries to make our people sell their soul all the time to him. You know, it's like he wants, because he sold his soul for his birthright, he tries to, throw it back in the Lord's face, all right, by making our people sell their souls to him. You see, it's like they try to sell the soul back, okay? But at the end of the day, ooh, that was crazy. The hell was that? That's wild. That's a whole black cat. I kept seeing this black thing just flying in the corner over there. I was like saying in my head, damn, that's a demon over there. But then I seen he climbed up the trees, a whole cat. He over there tripping. But
I thought it was like a little shadow just messing around in the bushes, because the demons be out there at high level right now. But it was a whole black cat. Anyway, so there you go again. Just jump down. Salakia. So it says, because that when they knew Yahawah, so again, these celebrities know who Yahawah Bashem Yahushua is, because Esau will make you sell your soul and let you know who you are. Because what are you going to sell your soul for if you don't know what you're selling your soul for at the end of the day? So they'll tell you the truth. And we've been said these people know the truth for a while. And they have ran into brothers that have this truth, and they have rejected the truth. Okay. And because they're celebrities, all right, they see all these things on the social media, because the same way they're celebrities and all that, we are celebrities basically. All right. But I don't mean that in a sense for vainglory or anything like that. It's just that, this word is being put out there. All right. So let's just look at it in the spiritual sense that we are celebrities out there. Okay. Because they know who the Hebrew Israelites are. Okay. So it says, because that when they knew Yahawah, they glorified him not as power, neither were thankful, but became vain in their imaginations, and their foolish heart was darkened. All right. Meaning what? Their mind. Okay. Because the heart goes into the la'ab, which means your mind. So their foolish mind was darkened. You get casted into outer darkness. Okay. And you become what? You become confused. All right. And this is what this damn devil was just showing you, his confusion. All right. Here it is, Mr. B2K. Okay. What's the one movie? He's Mr. You Got Served. He known for being a little pretty boy back in the day. You know what I'm saying? He known for being one of those that he was he done turned them out. Okay. Now he got them running around showing, trying to show some muscle with a whole with a whole woman's blouse, see-through rope blouse at that, and then he has some tight ass bell bottom looking, clothing, whatever the hell he had on his pants. That was, his natural self. That ain't nothing natural about that, man. Yahweh Bashem Yahushua is going to destroy you for that fruitiness that you got. Okay. So it says, professing themselves to be wise, they became fools, and changed the glory of the uncorruptible power into an image, okay, made like to corruptible man. All right. And see, this is the image that Esau wants you to follow after, okay, here in Babylon the Great, okay, because he is putting out the image of the Beast. Okay. So this is one of the images. All right. This is one of the things that he's allowing in his Luciferian world that he's trying to bring in, you see. And it's all about, you being that extra, being caught up with that Faganomtry at the end of the day. You see, it says, into an image made like to corruptible man, and to birds and four-footed beasts and creeping things, going into these different idols, okay, that these devils also worship, because they're known to worship what, the Baphomet, and by doing that worship, worshiping onto Baphomet, onto Baal and all that, this is how they get that fruity power that they have, and they walk around in great pride doing it. Okay. It says, wherefore Yahawah also gave them up to uncleanness through the lust of their own hearts, to dishonor their own bodies between themselves. Here it is, this nigga wearing a whole woman's clothing, man. All right. Matter of fact, let me grab that. This is Deuteronomy 22:5. It says, the woman shall not wear that which pertaineth unto a man, neither shall a man put on a woman's garment, for all that do so are abomination unto the Lord thy power. Okay, so he going way off. all right, by putting on women's clothing. All right, let me grab this. This is Leviticus 20 and 13. It says, if a man also lie with mankind as he lieth with a woman, both of them have committed an abomination. They shall surely be put to death. Their blood shall be upon them. You see? So we know that all these celebrities, your favorite celebrities, even you women that think, your cutest celebrity, oh, he fine. All of them are on some straight Faganomtry. That's it. Plain and simple, man. I don't care who it is. It could be from your Chris Browns to the sexiest man on earth that you think is the most hottest one on earth. Okay. They are all straight into the same exact thing, man. And they all worship the same idol, going back to Baphomet. Okay. And by you get those people, the reason they have so much money is because the wickedness that they do. You see, all that wickedness that they push. Okay, and because they taking it, in the pooper scooper. Okay, that they got the finer things of life. All right, which is all part of their Luciferian rituals. Okay, satanic rituals, pagan gods that they worship. Okay, so he's supposed yeah, Isaiah 3 and 9, it says they show let me see, hold on. Take it from 8. For Jerusalem uh is ruined, for Jerusalem is ruined and Judah is fallen. Yeah, and you see that. This is why they'll put the so-called black man, all right, and the so-called Hispanic, especially the tribe of Ephraim. They put the two top tribes, all right, from the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom. They always put them at the forefront of these things, man. Right now, they'll put Judah and they'll put the Judite man, showing that he a whole, HMO, okay, HOMO, okay, and then you'll put they got Mr. Way, okay. So it says, for Jerusalem is ruined and Judah is fallen, because their tongue and their doings are against the Lord Yahawah, to provoke the eyes of his glory. Okay, they show of the show of their countenance does witness against them, and they declare their sin as Sodom. They hide it not. Woe unto their soul, for they have their reward, for they have rewarded evil unto themselves. All right, and hey, that's straight to the point. Okay, they declare their sin as Sodom. All right, and this is why this place is spiritually called Sodom in Egypt, man, because of all the Faganomtry that you see around here. And what did the Lord say about that, man? All right, let me grab that real quick. Uh, this is I want to say is in 2 Peter's 2 and 6, and it says, and turning the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah into ashes. Till this day you cannot live in where Sodom and Gomorrah was, okay, originally. Why? Because the Lord destroyed that place so bad that there's so much sulfur to this day and nothing can be inhabited there. Okay, so this is the same thing that's going to happen to America by the way of thermonuclear missiles. Okay, it says, and turning the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah into ashes, condemn them with an overthrow, making them an example unto those that after should live ungodly, and delivered just lots, vexed with the filthy conversation of the wicked. All right. So the Lord had, as the scriptures say, everything written aforetime is written for your learning. All right. The Lord, all right, left that in the scriptures for you to learn not to live in those ways. Okay. He gave you that story so you can have an example, all right, of what happens when you want to climb that vine of Sodom and Gomorrah, man. Okay. And what's going to happen is that you're going to catch straight missiles, heavy missiles. All right. And that burn is not going to be a burn that is just over with, man. That burn is going to be a slow burn. You see, the Lord going to make you feel it from the inside out. Okay. And it's going to be the slowest burn you can possibly name. You see, possibly feel. All right. And very much well needed, because this place, all right, is just has accumulated with so much filth and abominations, man, that look, this is what Esau has fed you, all right, because Esau is the most vile person on earth. That's the nature of Esau. But because you follow after the ways of heathen, right, this is why our people are following in those ways, man. And that's why this place needs to be destroyed with thermonuclear missiles. All right. It has to be cleansed, because all the filthiness of this place, and the greatest cleansing agent that the Lord uses is fire. Okay. So it says, and turning the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah into ashes, condemned them with an overthrow, making them an example unto those that after should live ungodly. Okay. Let's read that in the NLT. It says, later, Yahawah condemned the cities, of Sodom and Gomorrah, and turned them into heaps of ashes. He made them an example of what will happen to ungodly people. But Yahawah also rescued Lot out of Sodom, because he was righteous, who was sick of the shameful immorality of the wicked people around him. Okay. And that's, man, I can only imagine what it was like in those days. Okay. But let's continue on. Okay. Salakia, let me go back to where I was at. So back to Romans 1 and 24. Wherefore Yahawah also gave them up to uncleanness through the lust of their own hearts, to dishonor their own bodies between themselves. You see, they have dishonored their own bodies. Okay. As a matter of fact, let's read that in the NLT. It says, so Yahawah abandoned them to do whatsoever shameful things their hearts desired. All right. Becoming what? A reprobate mind. It says, as a result, they did vile and degrading things with each other's bodies. Okay. Let's go into this word vile, if it allows me, because it's on the NLT side. Yeah, then let me go into it, because it's on the NLT side. That's why. Let me try it one more time. You know what? They put a different word there. They put impurity. Okay. Let's take that though. Impurity, right? It says act of tharsara. Akatharsia. It says uncleanness physically, in a moral sense, that impurity of lustful, luxurious, profligate. Let me get that word right. Hold on, Salaka. It says profligate, right? It says recklessly extravagant or wasteful in the use of resources. You see, it recklessly, okay, wasteful, meaning it just, hey, you gotta, when it's wasteful, right? That means you gotta throw that shit in the garbage, man. It's waste, complete waste. Okay. It says, let me get this word. Licentious, which means promiscuous and unprincipled in sexual matters. Okay. It says disregarding accepted rules or conventions. Okay, but the point is made with the promiscuous and unprincipled in sexual matters. Okay, that word unprincipled. Let me see if it allows me to go into it. Yep. It says of a person or their behavior not acting in accordance with moral principles. Yeah, because they're against Yahawah Bashim Yahweh Shai. So the things that they do are not moral to the eyes of the Lord, man. That's why they dishonor their own bodies. They don't even have respect for their own selves. You see? So let's go back. It goes to licentious. All right. The word was profligate. Okay. Recklessly. Okay. So it says, in a moral sense, the impurity of lustful, luxurious, profligate living or impure motives. Okay. Uncleanness, basically. Let me see what the root word of that is. Not cleansed. Oof. You see, they're not cleansed. And by you not being cleansed, all right, you and how do you get clean? Scriptures say in Psalms 119:9, how withal should a young man cleanse himself? By taking heed to the word, all right? Being sanctified by the word, as the scriptures say, now you are clean by the word which I have spoken unto you. So because they have not been, all right, cleansed with the word, you see, they're unclean and they do uncleanful things, all right, because of the desires of their hearts, you see, because of the things that they chase, all right. So it says, in an unceremonial sense, that which must be abstained from according to the Levitical law, okay. In a moral sense, unclean in thought and in life. All right. Foul. Very foul. Ooh, look at that. Specifically demonic. See, they doing demonic ass shit that shouldn't exist. All right. This is why they pray to their gods and do the things that they do, because they are in that demonic and diabolical state of mind. Okay. Worshipping on who? Baphomet. All right. And when you worship Baphomet, that is one of the things that's required. Okay. One of the main things that's required, especially of a man. They want him to bend his ass over, all right, and do some immoral shit right in front of the eyes of the Lord, because the angels are constantly watching, okay? And for the women, they make them do even some weirder shit. You know, a lot of these women, you know, getting shitted on in their mouths, all right, getting pissed on in their mouths, you know, they you know, doing the same thing, you know, vice versa, sleeping with women, okay? Yeah, man, listen to them songs that some of these rappers done put out. Okay, some of these women out there playing, you know, with pentagons, all right, and sticking it in they vajayjay, man. Okay, smashing themselves with it. See, these are the filthy lust that these people do. All right, just for the love of money. Okay, that's why the scriptures tell you. As a matter of fact, let's grab that real quick. That for the love of money, you know, they err from the faith. This is let me grab it from a different one. This is First Timothy. 1 second. 1 Timothy 6:9, and it says, "But they that will be rich fall into temptation and a snare, and into many foolish and hurtful lusts, which drown men in destruction and perdition. For the love of money is the root of all evil, which while some coveted after, they have erred from the faith and pierced themselves through with many sorrows." You see? So they do things that are hurtful lusts for the love of money. All right. So let's go back. All right. To Romans 1:24. Wherefore Yahawah also gave them up to uncleanness through the lust of their own hearts. All right. And as a matter of fact, since we was going into that word vow and I couldn't bring it up, let me grab it in Hebrews. All right. Because this all comes from Esau, man. Them following in the ways of Esau. This is Hebrews Hebrews 12 and 16. And it says, lest there be any fornicator or profane person as Esau, who for one morsel of meat sold his birthright. All right. Lest there be any fornicator. Let's go into that word fornicator. Okay. Fornicator goes into pornos. All right. This is how you get that word porn and all that. Okay. It goes into pornea, basically. All right. This word, whoa, this word pornos goes into a man who prostitutes his body to another's lust for hire. All right. And we done seen that with the Diddy trials and all that. Okay. It says a man who indulges in unlawful sexual intercourse, a fornicator. All right. And it all comes from who? Esau. Okay. It says when you go into that word pornos, it goes into, it says piparasco.
Strong's G 4097. Piparasco.
Right? It says to sell of price one into slavery. You see? That's what they become. They become slaves to Esau. All right? For a price. For a price. That's why they sell their souls, man. They're doing it for a price, but they have to become Esau's little bitch at the end of the day. It says of the master to whom is sold as a slave, metaphorically sold under sin. Oof, this is heavy right now. Sold under sin, entirely under the control of the love of sinning. You see, and that's what happens. The Lord gives them up into that reprobate mind to do these lusts that they have desired. Okay. And that's why that's why you have a interview like that. You have this damn devil talk about he found himself his natural self. Yeah, because you was a whole fruity pebble the whole entire damn time. You was a whole Captain Crunch nigga. All right. So it says of one bribed to give himself up wholly to another's will. Okay. They've been bribed, all right, to do these things. It says from the base to traffic traveling. Example, disposed of as merchandise or into slavery. Yeah, you see, because now you're a merchandise onto Esau. You see, they could just pull you out the shelf whenever they want. Okay, and when you want to get more money, you got to do more immoral things. You see, and then Esau is the type that's never satisfied with things. So he's going to make sure that you do something even more nastier and disgusting, all right, for you to get a better paycheck. Okay. And that's why you see some of these people, people like yo Diddy's, yo Jay-Z's, that they up there with the Illuminati money. Why? Because they are doing things to keep themselves at that top. Old as hell, still running the game. You see, how are you still running the game and you so damn old, man? Because you've done all these wicked things behind closed doors. Okay. So that word goes into piparasco, goes into Peran. All right. Peran.
Strong's G 4008. Peran.
Right. It says to go beyond. That's what they do. They go beyond. All right. Beyond the normal sin. They have overpassed the deeds of the wicked, as the scriptures tell you. Okay. On the other side. All right. Yeah, you on the other side. You're against Yahawah Shem Yahushua. You ain't rolling on this side. All right, on the side of righteousness, but on the other side, which is against Yahawah Shem Yahushua, meaning anti-Hamashiach. Okay, it says, it goes into pierce. Okay, to pierce, which eventually that's what's going to end up happening. They're going to end up being pierced, which you already know what. All right, that MOTB. All right, going into that Rice Krispie treat. Okay, so Now let's go back to the verse, Hebrews 12:16. Lest there be any fornicator or profane person. All right. That word profane goes into, look, they done took that out too. Oh yeah, they definitely took that out. Because I remember that was always in there. Goes into Babylos, right?
Strong's G 952. Bebelos.
Babylos,
Bebelos.
right? Which you look, it sound close to Babylon, all right? Which Babylon is what? Going into Babel, which means confusion, okay? Close enough. All right, let me see what the root word of that is. Nah, I didn't go into much. Right, so it says accept. It said here it used to actually say vile. Now I don't know why it's not in there, but we already know that Esau like to go into these blue letter Bibles, all right, and actually, you know, switch things around, because remember, at the end of the day, we're bringing out this truth about this devil, man. So he'll go into these things and change these things. Okay, it says accessible, lawful to be trodden, okay, of places profane, unhallowed, okay, meaning that it's not holy, man. Okay, common public place. Yeah, he done switched this up, of men ungodly, okay, profane. Matter of fact, you know what, let me prove my point. Definition of profane. Definition of profane goes into relating or devoted to that which is not sacred or biblical. Secular rather than religious. Okay, let me see what these words, similar words are. It goes into secular, lay, non-religious, temporal, worldly. All right, very worldly. This devil lives by. All right, that's why the Lord told you not to love the things of the world, because the love of the world is it for those that live in the world, right? The love of the Father is not in him. It says sacred, ungodly, godless. All right, we know this devil has no thoughts of Yahawah Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai. So he's very ungodly and he's godless. All right. Also goes into it says obscene, blasphemous, foul, filthy, dirty, offensive. These are all words that could go with it, man. That show you the characteristics of Esau. All right. Man, they don't even got it on there no more. It used to always say vile. Let me see what it says in the online dictionary. Word etymology. Desecrate, treat holy things with irreverence. Irreverence. Unholy, violate. Damn, they done took that out, that vile. That word vile is heavy, because, you know, he's the most vile person on earth. Let's see what that word vile means. Definition of vile. There you go. This is what you see. This is what it used to really say. It will say vile goes to extremely unpleasant. Okay. Foul, nasty. Okay. Atrocious. These are all Esau's characteristics. Nauseating. Sickening. Base. Yeah, he comes from base men. As a matter of fact, spiritual. Let's grab that. This is Job 30, I believe it is. 30. Yep. This is 30, and I'll just get straight to the point. Verse 8, it says, they were children of fools. Yeah, children of base men. They were viler than the earth. Okay. So going back to what we was reading in the word vile. Okay. base. They are from base men. Okay. Dishonorable, heinous. You get the point. Reprobate, beautiful. That's why the Lord gives them up to a reprobate mind. Okay, degenerates, yeah, they're the true degenerates. Diabolical, right? All right, so it says so the word for vile is the definition for vile is extremely unpleasant. Okay, and then you have also morally bad and wicked, of little worth or value. That's exactly what he is. He is of little worth and of no value. All right, because the Lord, all right, look, he had the birthright, and the Lord made him give up his birthright because he was of no worth and of little value, no value at all. You see, the Lord didn't need him. Okay, that's why you were created, just to be destroyed. All right, all right. As a matter of fact, let me grab that. This is what did I just want? Romans 9, and I'll get straight to the point. This is 21:20. It says, "Nay, but O man, who art thou that replies against Yahawah? Shall the thing formed say to him that formed it, Why hast thou made me thus? Has not the potter power over the clay of the same lump to make one vessel unto honor and another unto dishonor?" You see, and that's what he is about, man. The Lord created Esau to be the vessel of dishonor. He created the nation of Israel to be the vessel of honor, starting with the elect. Okay. What if Yahawah, willing to show his wrath and to make his power known, endured with much suffering the vessels of wrath fitted to destruction? You see, he was the vessels of wrath fitted to destruction. All right, literally created for the day of evil, man, just to be destroyed. Let me grab that. This is Proverbs 16:4. It says, "The Lord Yahawah has made all things for himself, yet even the wicked for the day of evil." Okay, and how do we know that that's talking about Esau? All right, and these 2/3 that want to follow after the ways of Esau, because Malachi, let me grab that. Malachi tells you that they were the border of wickedness. Okay, so they are of that wicked one, going all the way back to that serpent in the garden, going back to Cain. Okay, but this is real quick. Let me just grab that to prove the point. This is Malachi 1:4, and it says, "Whereas Edom saith, We are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, they shall build, but I will throw it down, and they shall call them the border of wickedness, and the people against whom the Lord Yahawah has indignation forever." Okay, so let's go back to Hebrews 12:16. "Lest there be any fornicator or profane person as Esau, who for one morsel of meat, okay, sold his birthright." Okay, now let's go back to Romans 1:26. It says, "For this cause Yahawah gave them up unto vile affections." Let me see what vile says here. I was trying to grab it from that NLT before. I wanted to just see if it says the same thing. Yeah, the word vile goes into dishonor, disgrace, shame, reproach. Okay, all these words go with Esau as his characteristics. All right, so it says, "For this cause Yahawah gave them up to vile affections." Let's see what this affections is. Affections goes into pathos. All right, it says, "Wherefore whatever befalls one, whether it be sad or joyous," okay, specifically a calamity, mishap, evil, affliction, okay, a feeling which the mind suffers. Yeah, that's why these damn devils be hiding themselves. That's why they got to party from day to from day to nighttime every single day. You see, drugging themselves up because these people can't sleep at the end of the day. They got so many damn demons on them. They even try to sleep. Yahawah Bashim Yahweh Shai gonna plague their mind, man. So they got to party themselves to death, basically. They got to sit there and be drinking all types of adrenochrome and shit to keep themselves looking young, because if they don't, all right, you're gonna see the demons in their face. You're gonna see the demons in their eyes, man. Your eyes are the window to your soul. All right, so all you gotta do is look these devils in their eyes, man, and you'll be able to see the demons that they got on them. All right, and that's why they wear these these glasses, these $3,000 glasses and shit like that. It says in the New Testament, in a bad sense, depraved passion, vile passions. All right, get the point. So let's go on. It says, for this cause Yahawah gave them up to vile affections, for even their women did change the natural use into that which is against nature. Okay, and here it is, this damn devil talking about, I found myself finally. I found my natural self. It says, and likewise also the men, leaving the natural use of the woman. Yep, because a woman and a man are supposed to come together. All right, they're supposed to be fruitful and multiply. All right, the Lord didn't say you were supposed to be out there playing tummy swords with each other, man. Okay, you women out there playing with each other on some other shit also, following after the ways of Esau. Okay, it says, burned in their lust one toward another, men with men working that which is unseemly. All right, meaning what? These are things that are not supposed to be seen. Okay, it says, and receiving in themselves the recompense of their error, which was meat. Okay, let's read that in the NLT. It says, that is why Yahawah abandoned them to their shameful desires. Even the women turned against the natural way to have sex and instead indulge in sex with each other. And the men, instead of having normal sexual relations with women, burned with lust for each other. Men did shameful things with other men. And as a result of this sin, they suffered within themselves the penalty they deserved. Okay, which is what? Thermonuclear missiles, eternal fire. Okay, which is not going to be a fire that they're going to burn in forever. All right, but meaning, they're going to burn for quite some time. It says, and even as they did not like to retain Yahawah in their knowledge, all right, because they had the chance to, they didn't want to take the word. Yahawah gave them over to a reprobate mind, okay, to do those things which are not convenient. Okay, reprobate goes into adokimos. Adokimos.
Strong's G96. Adakimas.
Adakimas. Okay.
Adakimas.
So it says, not standing the test, not approved. You see, they're not fit to stand for the test of Yahawah Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. They're not approved. Okay, so the Lord casts them away. All right, they're useless. They're wasteful. Okay, they're waste. Properly use the metals and coins, that which is not that which does not prove itself such as it ought. Unfit for, that's exactly what they are, unfit for this truth. Okay, unproved. Okay, spurious, reprobate, castaway. Exactly, you're a castaway that is casted into the fire, to the lake of fire. Okay, unapproved, worthless, rejected. You're just like Esau. You are rejected. Okay, the Lord rejected him for repentance, man, because what he did, because how wicked he was. You see, so he was rejected. So this is what Esau does. He know he got but a short time, but he gonna try to bring as many of our people he can down with him, so they can be rejected along with him. So Esau don't have to feel like he the only one in life being rejected, But you still gonna be the only one that's being rejected, because here in this lifetime, okay, that's about to pop off, you're going to serve 1,000 years of servitude, right, under Yahawah, and then Yahawah going to destroy you for the rest of your life, never to be heard of ever again. And you're the only nation that's going to go through that. These other nations going to serve under 1,000 years of servitude, but they're going to go back to their rightful lands, man. You're not going to be here no more, you see, because of the wickedness that you have brought upon this earth, man. You see, the filth and the abominations that you have brought. You see, the Lord's going to literally disintegrate you, eradicate your ass off the planet earth, okay? And this is why they do what they do, man. All right, because they know these things, man. So you are rejected. Rejected. So let's finish that up. It says first Salakia, Romans 1:28. Salakia. This is 1:28. It says, and even as they did not like to retain Yahawah in their knowledge, Yahawah gave them over to a reprobate mind to do those things which are not convenient, being filled with all unrighteousness, fornication, wickedness, covetousness, maliciousness, full of envy, murder, debate, deceit, malignity, and whisperers, backbiters, haters of Yahawah, despiteful, proud, boasters, inventors of evil things, disobedient to parents, without understanding, covenant breakers. And that's one of the main things these devils are, covenant breakers, man. All right, they'll sit here and try to make a covenant with you and then break their covenant. All right, and our people are covenant breakers also. All right, without natural affection, implacable, unmerciful, who knowing the judgment of Yahawah, that they which commit such things are worthy of death, not only do the same, but have pleasure in them that do them. See, they that's how wicked these people are, that they know that the things that they do are worthy of death, but they actually have pleasure in it, man. So it's like they have pleasure and pride of dying, you know? And this is very so why America has to be burnt the hell up, man, with thermonuclear missiles, because the mindset that these people have, man, and all you're doing is just spreading that energy, you know, putting that vibration upon the earth, you see. And Jake falls for that shit, man. Follows right after that energy. This is why you have to stay prayed up, man, so that energy doesn't fall upon you, you know. But hey, that's pretty much the point. So Lord willing, you were edified. So with that being said, Barakatah Yahawah, Barakatah Yahawah Shai, Call Haloyim La Yahawah, Bahashem, Yahawah Shai, Bahashem, Rachak Wadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who rule well. Blessings and salutations to the whole full elect that scattered abroad, the Akim and the Akwat that was listening in. Yahweh Ratazah, Lord willing, that the lesson was edifying. To the next one, Shalom. Keep fighting the good fight of faith, enduring as good soldiers of Yahawah Shai. Shalom.